Hello everybody, welcome to My Hero Academia, chapter 329 review. This chapter is titled, In the Nick of Time, a Big Time Maverick from the West. Now, just to catch up on what happened last chapter we saw a flashback from Stain. We also saw, included in that flashback, All Might's conversations with Sanda and Tsukuyoshi about how Shigaraki will be completed in 38 days and how you only have 3 days left until he will be completed. And then we saw a UN meeting with people from countries all over the world talking about their pro heroes and how they want to get over to Japan. And we ended off on having one of those heroes headed towards Japan, and that hero was the U.S.'s #1, Star and Stripe. United States of America, my bad. Star and Stripe. So, this chapter we get a title page with Star and Stripe on it, and the first thing we see is All for One, or AFO, whatever you want to call them, saying, a crucial moment is nigh. Escaped convicts and their antics have provided the perfect distraction for keeping the short-staffed police and heroes from devoting their full time and attention to us. We've played a game of hide-and-seek on this small island nation, and we have won. And we see him sitting in a chair, so hooked up to all of the life support stuff, with the high-end Nomu behind him. And we also see Spinner there, saying, we could have also won by just leaving this country. And AFO says, you misread my intent. Winning this little match was a short-term objective, and obtaining one for all is the mid-game goal. And Spinner says, not the final one, and AFO says, I planned ahead for a long life. And within those plans, this very moment presents with both the greatest obstacle and the ultimate opportunity. I have heaps of friends all around the globe. All Might may have eradicated organized crime here in Japan, but other nations are a different story. Once those friends of mine start stirring up trouble, each country will have its own way and priorities against the needs of others. And Spinner says, okay, so what's the obstacle? And the opportunity? And AFO says, Star and Stripe. The strongest woman around, and hero who reigns supreme in the land of the free. Home of heroes. She shrugs off cheap tricks and petty tactics. So this is a gamble. She will prove far more than a mere nuisance, but should I manage to steal her quirk, the rest of this war will be just a formality. Unlike young Toya and the others, you've devoted yourself to guarding me, but it's nearly time for you to take well, Iguchi, which is Spinner's actual name, Iguchi. In the days to come, you, Spinner, will support Tomer Shigaraki in his crusade and do justice to your name as the one who spins this tale. You were a veritable nobody, and as a hedomorph you have led a difficult life. You hear the ramblings already, don't you? So many out there sympathize with your cause from the shadows. And we see, we cut to some ruined buildings, and on the side of a building, a poster with Spinner's image on it, and it says, Spinner, our voice. And we see 3 members of the Paranormal Liberation Front, or a few surviving members. And if you remember, during the Paranormal Liberation Front, teams were created, and they were leaders and all of that, and these were people on Spinner's team. Now, I don't remember any of their names, I don't remember any of their roles, I don't even remember what number team Spinner. I think it was, I should have done my research for this, but I don't remember. But that's pretty much these guys, and they say, Redestra was inherently beholden to the old way of things, but behold, the cinders of liberation is yet to burn bright. We of the Vanguard Action Support Regiment were assigned to fight under Spinner, given who we are. The great skeptic outlasted his peers and now tells us that liberation is at hand. We are to eliminate what resistance remains to realize his revolution. And we see Skeptic there, and I forget if she's a he or she, but they say, yes, muster the warriors in a way that's the simplest for you lot. And in a way that's simplest for you lot, the League may rub me the wrong way, but their influence certainly has its uses. And then we see cut again, and we see another thing on this saying. It says, the tragedy of Himiko Toga plays out to this day. And as Spinner, or Skeptic says, Registro himself, so the light and hope they represent. It makes no difference whether or not the League of Villains are true liberators destined to accept this mission and burden, as we cut to Dobby, or Toya, whatever you want to call him, just standing out. And Skeptic also says, hold them sacred. We should now endow them with divinity. Once Tomer Shigaraki has destroyed all, we shall show the seeds of the future. And then we cut to Hawks and Best Jeanist in their car, and Hawk says she'll be entering our airspace soon, meeting up after meeting up, let's start planning right away. It's seriously reassuring to have Star on our side. But are they going to throw the book at her? And Gina says, her nature may prove our salvation. For quite some time now, I've wanted to chat with her about the treasured vintage denim from the Gold Rush. And then Tsukiyoshi calls in on the intercom. Tsukiyoshi, Endeavor, Hawks, you listening? Our report just came in now. Longer flight path, 50 kilometers ahead of the landing point. It's him. He's shown himself. As we see a whole bunch of planes in the distance in a 2-page spread with no words on it, and Shigaraki standing there holding his hand out while it looks like there's something like a hole in the middle of his hand, as we see all these fighter pilots or fighter jets out in the distance. We can tell Star's silhouette on one of them. And we didn't see cut, and we see Star, and she says, you're such a warm welcome before. Such a warm welcome before I've even arrived. You're that free to do as you please, mister? And we see Shigaraki then looking forward, and Star says, are you the villain they call All for One? As Shigaraki just stands there on top of a Nomu, carrying him in the sky, as he has a black cape all around him and his white flowing hair blowing in the wind. And he says, good question. What exactly am I? And the chapter stops. Now, what I think of this chapter is it's an interesting beginning with the whole Spinner, you've got allies, protect Shigaraki, the day of liberation is to come. And then it pretty much cuts to Shigaraki meeting Star and Stripe, which it's a very beautiful, in a way, image of them meeting, and Shigaraki's whole quote at the end of good question, what exactly am I? It's cool, I like it. Not a whole lot to say on this chapter though. It's really just a setup chapter for what the next chapters will hold. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on this chapter. Thank you for watching, and this is Glowplasma231